Update on the situation with my tenant's heat. If you saw my last video, I have a tenant who's a little bit older and we have an ongoing situation with her heat. I've tried everything I can think of to accommodate her, and she calls me all the time complaining, not just about this, but this is just what I consider the most reasonable complaint. So I was trying to sleep today and she kept calling over and over again, and I didn't answer because again, I was sleeping. And she doesn't leave a message. This is also another dispute we have. I beg her, please either just text me whatever it is or leave it on the voicemail. I can't always answer the phone. So she finally left a voicemail after a few calls, and she said that the temperature in her apartment was 63. And I panicked because if it was in fact 63, that's actually a problem. That's way too cold and also a violation of the heat ordinance, all of these things. So I panicked. I called my boyfriend who lives above her and basically asked him to please go down and check it, because if that's the case, then there's probably a problem throughout the building and I need to get my contractor over there right away to fix it. So it turned out it was not 63 degrees, it was 69 point something. And so that is technically within the heat ordinance, but again, she's older and a little bit cold, but she was panicked. So what we ended up doing is I asked my boyfriend again to show her how the through the wall heater that I put in for her worked and to turn it on for her. And immediately it started pumping out 122 degree hot heat before it even had warmed up, and the temperature was going up very quickly. So we put it on, showed her how it worked, explained it, but really she can just leave it on now. And I tried to explain that to her. And again, she was worried about her electricity bill and saying she couldn't afford it, all these things. And she was also upset because she really only has one family member or contact or person that I am aware of, which is her son, but they don't get along great. When he does come over or do something for her, they end up screaming at each other. He gets frustrated too. And apparently she was upset because she likes to pay her electricity bill early. She hadn't even gotten the bill yet, but you can call in and get the amount. And she was upset because it had gone up $30. It's usually around $30 a month. It had gone up another $30, which, if you follow the news in Illinois, everyone's electricity bills are going up due to some recent changes and things like that. And so she was panicked. She wanted to pay it. Her son wouldn't come over today to take her to pay it. Now she can go, she insists on paying everything in person with actual cash, which is a whole nother thing. And he wouldn't come over, and she was upset, even though the bill hasn't even been issued yet. So Kurt, my boyfriend, very kindly offered to go do it for her. Take the bill, go pay it, take the cash. And I ended up saying, hey, I will pay your electricity bill this month, so you have extra money, you don't have to worry about it, whatever. And that took a lot of explaining to get there. So that's what we did. Kurt went and paid it, physically paid it. I put forth the money for it and got her electricity bill paid. Again, told her to leave the heater on. And the other problem, which I don't think I mentioned in my last video, but I answered in some of the comments. One of the other issues is she allows a lot of the heat to escape from her apartment. There's 2 doors on every apartment, and her back door she loves to leave open because she likes to hear who's coming and going in the building. But the problem is her back door is pretty close. It's in the inside of the building. It's in the interior, but it's very close to one of the exterior rear doors. And so every time people come and go from there, cold air comes in, and that part of the hallway is colder. So then she's letting all the heat out of her apartment and cold air is coming in because she leaves her door open. So I again begged her to keep her door closed, but I've had this conversation before and nothing comes of it. Because honestly, if she would just keep her door closed, it honestly would be probably plenty warm. Because Kurt's apartment, granted, is above her, but is hot. I said, please stop calling me about this. You're driving me crazy. And she's like, I know, I'm just the person that bugs everyone. I know. It's kind of hard to deal with. So I don't know. She doesn't usually comply with things. So we will see if she actually leaves the heater on. I don't know. If a lot of the concern is really just her electricity bill, which is very low, it's not very expensive, I'm really considering just wrapping it into her rent, or maybe I won't even raise her rent, I don't know, but just paying it because it's not a lot of money. And if she's worried about a few dollars, which I get, don't get me wrong, I understand people are pinching pennies, I get it. I'm not trying to sound insensitive to that, but if a few dollars will fix this problem, like, let's do that. The thing is, for all the people who are giving me solutions, which I appreciate all the kind comments, the mean comments, this is not the only issue. She calls me all the time for lots of things. She called me because she didn't have enough towels. I'm your landlord, I'm not your towel provider. But heat is something that stresses me out because I panic if there's a problem with the boiler and it's the whole building, it's not just her. So when she tells me there's no heat or it's 63 degrees, I get very worried. And just to answer a few of the comments, she does have an electric heating blanket. She refuses to use it. She does have a lot of senior services. As far as I know, they come at least once a week for her. Yes, she is definitely lonely, and I try to talk to her when I can, but I just don't always have the time, frankly, every day. And she's not always nice. I usually don't talk too much about this because I get some mean comments, but to the people who are like, housing is a right, you shouldn't be even having housing, we shouldn't have landlords, you're a troll, stop making money off of her. One person who has now been blocked left a really mean comment and said, you should sell the property to her and stop making money off of her. Well, first of all, I'm really not making money off of her. Second, the reality is, do you think that she could afford to buy a property? Even if I sold it to her for $1,000, which she could not afford, the reality is she could not afford the expenses associated. If I could even sell it, which I couldn't. These are apartments, not condos. I couldn't sell her a single unit. But putting aside all the practical realities of all of that, even if I gave her the apartment, she could not afford the taxes. She couldn't do repairs. She had, anyway, good landlords. I'm not saying all landlords are good. Obviously they're not. There's good ones and bad ones. But landlords do provide a function, and to argue otherwise is ridiculous. I could say a million things on this topic, but I really don't want to debate it. I just wanted to give an update for the people who are worried about her. She is fine. It is now about 75 degrees already in her apartment, and I'm sure she'll be calling about something tomorrow, but I don't know. Hopefully we can maybe wrap her electricity into her rent and at least solve this problem, because the stress is killing me. I hope you all stay warm and safe during this storm. By the way, just an update. Kurt just got back from paying her electricity bill, and she immediately said, oh, just a couple more things. And she had a list of things, one of which was, can you please go back to the same store you just came from and buy me some cigarettes? And he said, no, I have to go. We have something we're doing. And she's like, please, blah, blah, blah. You wouldn't have known what to get you. And he recited what kind of cigarette she smokes, because we see her smoking all the time. And yeah, if that gives you any flavor for the situation.